Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for All About Android is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of All About Android is brought to you by 99 Designs, the world's largest graphic design marketplace. 99 Designs connects businesses seeking quality, affordable designs with a community of more than 270,000 graphic designers. Visit 99designs.com/AAA to receive a free Power Pack upgrade valued at $99. And by lynda.com. Learn what you want, when you want, with access to over 2,000 high-quality online courses and training videos, all for one low monthly price. To try it free for 7 days, visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid. That's LYNDA.com/allaboutandroid. Hello and welcome to yet another episode of All About Android, episode 145, recorded on Tuesday, January 21st, 2014. We're your weekly source for the latest news, hardware, and apps for the Android faithful. I'm Jason Howell.
I'm Ron Richards.
And I'm Gina Trapani.
Welcome back. Gina, you're surviving in the cold?
Thanks, surviving. Just barely.
Yeah.
Snowbound in Manhattan.
You're snowbound. We're basking in pretty warm weather here in the Bay Area.
It's pretty dry. I think I saw.
It's very dry.
I think I saw a forecast that there was no rain in the forecast for a very long time.
It's crazy. I think we're like 20% of what we should be at this point. It's kind of depressing, actually.
I'm not missing my hometown in New York right now. I'm kind of enjoying the West Coast decision. I'm sorry, Gina. Sorry. Yeah.
Gina, you're probably missing the West Coast, especially now because we actually have an awesome guest also coming from near where you were from, even a couple of weeks ago down in San Diego. I believe you're in Temecula now, though. This is Cecilia Abadi. She is the CTO of Byte and Atom Research. You probably, if you're on Google Plus and you are following Android, Google Glass, all that kind of stuff, I feel like I see you all the time on Google Plus, Cecilia.
I've been around a little bit lately, yes.
Lately especially. We're going to definitely kind of dive into part of the reason why we invited you on. It's kind of a big deal here. We're going to be discussing the case of glass while driving, which is why Cecilia is here. We're also going to check out a follow-up to Ingress, which, Ingress has been a pretty awesome app for quite a while, big following. They have a follow-up game coming out very soon. A new secure Blackphone, which sounds kind of interesting, and more. But we're not going to do the news roll because we're going to kind of talk to Cecilia a little bit about what's going on here. So basically, Cecilia, you found yourself caught up in kind of a big thing on the internet around wearing glass and driving. Why don't you kind of explain the situation and what happened?
So since May 1st, I've been wearing Google Glass all day long. So I wake up and half an hour later, I'm wearing glass until the end of the day. And then that's what I do. And when I'm driving, I'm also wearing Google Glass. And one day in October, I was stopped by an officer and I didn't even remember I was wearing it because I wasn't actively using it at that time. And he can remind me that I was wearing Google Glass and he wasn't very happy about it. And he asked me a lot of questions, which I only could answer, I'm just wearing it. And I didn't know it was illegal. And he started to imply that it was illegal to wear Google Glass. Did
the officer recognize right away what it was? Like, was he like, oh, you're wearing Google Glass, I see.
Yeah, this was very shocking because usually they don't recognize it or they have the question. But his first mention of Google Glass was, why are you wearing Google Glass while driving? So he totally knew what it was.
Okay.
All right. So he's a fan.
By name. Well,
so there you
maybe.
No,
I don't know. That remains to be seen here. So you were stopped. You were stopped because of speeding. Is that right? And then
that is right. So
okay.
I was. Well, we all know in Southern California we drive pretty fast, but I also was inadvertently in an area that was 65. I thought it was a little higher, and he said I was speeding.
Okay. But then gave you kind of a citation for the glass aspect, which is based around a lot. For both, right, which is based around a law here in California, which basically says if you have a second screen that's within view, they can give you a ticket if that screen happens to be on, distracted driving, all that.
And that's mainly for those minivans with the LCD display on the dashboard, although they don't let you play it while you're but to keep people from basically watching TV while driving.
yeah, exactly. Which is kind of a murky water when you think about all the things that are at least given a pass, like navigation screens. That's absolutely a screen that's on your dash.
And also now
there are specific exceptions though in the law. So the code law has specific exceptions for GPS and navigation and other things. So that makes sense within the law.
I feel doubly bad for that time period when I was watching Netflix on my drive home from here.
You should.
That was not wise. I'm glad I didn't.
I have never done that, Ron, ever. Maybe once. But.
So you got the double tickets basically.
Yes. So, but obviously, I mean, having I mean, most people have had at least once in their lives a speeding ticket. That wasn't a big deal. But the Google Glass was very surprising because I think all of us Glass explorers, we were under the assumption that it was legal. And my main reason to believe that is because in some states, they were trying to introduce legislation to prohibit Google Glass. So I assumed if the legislation is not there, it's all good.
Right. And not to mention, I mean, I feel like in a lot of the promotional material and one of the stated kind of benefits of wearing glass is the navigation aspect of it. So I mean, it kind of goes against itself when it says, well, yes, you can use your glass for driving navigation, but you can't drive with Google Glass on. So it kind of gets a little murky there. So you had your day in court. That was last Thursday, I believe.
So I want to kind of, before we do that, so you decided to contest the ticket, you wanted to challenge it basically, or what? Like, how did you just didn't want to just pay the fine and move on?
No, because it didn't seem very clear that the law was really trying to regulate glass for once. It wasn't very clear that just by wearing you would be in an infraction. So in reality, it wasn't very clear at all. And then I got legal advice, from my traffic guys in San Diego, awesome lawyers that helped me with the case. And the law was pretty clear in the end.
So that was my next question, was whether or not you brought a lawyer with you to the hearing, or did you do it by yourself? And did at any point, did Google reach out to you, or have you spoken to Google up until the point of the hearing, or?
I can really talk specifics about conversations with Google, more than the normal conversations that we all as explorers have. I can't really comment on that. So
that's a fair answer, and I'll gladly read between the lines.
Okay, so you had your day in court. That was last Thursday, and apparently, it seemed like it was about an hour, right? Was that about the amount of time that it took?
Maybe even shorter, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay, all right. I was peeled trying to watch to see what happened, and apparently Commissioner John Blair ruled not guilty, saying that it could not be proven that the display was actually on at the time. And I think this is part of the challenge of glass, right? Because people see glass and they make assumptions about it, about what it is doing at all the time, at all times, what it's capable of doing and everything. And I think some people think that when you're wearing it, you're actively engaging with it all the time. It's always on. The screen is always there, distracting you and everything. Yep. And in this case, the screen was not on, and you were proven not guilty because they really couldn't prove that it was on.
Which technically we know that it would be very hard to prove that it was on.
It would.
I guess. So my reading of what happened is that it's okay to wear glass. Nobody can tell you that it's not okay to wear glass. And that's a big relief for all of us explorers.
I would agree.
So that's very clear. But if you're mingling with it with your hand up here and an officer sees you, then you could be in trouble. So I think as long as you're using your hands-free features, you have an awesome, safe device, hands-free, perfect for the car, and you're not it's going to be very hard that you get the ticket.
And that's interesting. I wonder if, and I'm speaking hypothetically or rhetorically, and you don't necessarily need to answer, Cecilia, especially if you can't, but more to Jason and Gina. Do you think do you think the glass device keeps a log of when the display is active, and could that eventually become used as in evidence? You know, like, because they say they have to prove that it was on while someone was driving. And, you know, is there some sort of, I know the logging that normal systems kind of do. I can pull up my computer and say when the display was active and when it went to sleep and all stuff like that. I wonder if glass is the same thing. So.
There's got to be logging like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's like any Android device, you can do the ADB log cat or cat log. I never know which one it is, but I'm sure you can get logged. So in a criminal case, so let's say you're driving and you unfortunately get into a very bad accident and someone gets hurt, I think they could pull the glass as an evidence and see your record.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like you said, there really would be no way whatsoever that a policeman would be able to look at you while you're driving and know that the screen is on at that particular point. If I'm talking to you and I'm wearing glass,
I can see the dot.
and it's on, you can see the dot, but you got to be really close to be able to see that. And is it true that when the officer pulled you over and you looked up, this is just one of those random things that I read somewhere, that when you looked up, the screen actually did activate? Is that kind of part of the reason why he kind of clued into it?
I don't know if he saw it before or after, but that is true. Because of the position you are, the officer is standing up, you're sitting, you do look up, and my glass did come up. Yeah. Multiple times.
Did you take any pictures while he was talking to you?
You're like, I'd like to answer that question, but first, okay, glass, record video. And
that's what I would love that I had done. I wish I had done that.
I mean, in that moment, did that thought even cross your mind, or were you just nervous? I mean, like I can't imagine what in that situation, what thoughts you might have been having.
Yeah,
it was a very unfriendly situation.
Yeah.
It wasn't really. He was already with a position very taken, and he was very angry that I was wearing Google Glass and using it according to him. So it wasn't a nice situation for me to react and take my time and record. But it did trigger this reflex for the future. I feel like with Google Glass, as citizens or people out in the street, we are a little more protected. We can at any time record things and have that on our defense or on clarity or, you know.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like a really kind of simple technical solution to some of this. I mean, I was in a car this weekend, a relatively new rental car. I was the passenger, but the nav, like I couldn't enter an address into the navigation system if the car was moving. The car had to be in park because it sensed that the car was moving and the driver couldn't enter. So it seems like, you know, certainly Android has the capability of knowing whether you're walking, cycling, or driving. That's definitely one of the features they talked about in a recent I/O. I think maybe the past I/O. It seems like natural that when the consumer version of Glass becomes available, that when Glass knows you're driving, which it definitely does, it would limit capabilities to just nav, which could be part of the solution.
Just nav or just audio.
Just audio, exactly. As long as it doesn't put the navigation would be the only one that could pull the screen on, because you're allowed to see a navigation screen, but any other screen would have to be a completely hands-free voice.
Yeah. It seems like that's doable. Like you said, Gina. Yeah, like there are zip cars that I've gotten that allow Bluetooth pairing on my phone, and I've tried to pair the phone while I was driving, and it just won't let me do it. It's like pull over and do this. I was like, oh well, that's smarter. So I imagine it's just got to be an evolution of the software at some point. So
only Google probably can do that. I've talked to many developers trying to find a solution like this, and I think most likely it seems like Google will have to do it.
Yeah, they'd have to build it into the system, and Google might have to do that if this situation continues to come up and continues to, you know, maybe paint Google Glass in a bad light, or, you know, if it keeps coming up. Google wants to sell this product and they want this product to be viable. They're going to have to address it at some point.
And I mean, we the explorers are very much the canaries in the coal mine here. I mean, this isn't just about figuring out, you know, what people like about Glass or don't. I think that a lot of this is about setting precedents like this and seeing what kind of snags and what the expectations and kind of what the feedback. So I mean, still, you're really doing Google quite a favor here by being the person, you know, kind of willing to argue this and to go into court and bring up the whole issue.
Thank you. I think it was very interesting what happened in UK, because in UK they started introducing a law to prohibit Glass, and then they kind of had conversations apparently with Google, and they backtracked and they went back on their decision. So I think a lot of things can happen yet.
Yeah, a lot of things can happen. Absolutely.
Are you happy with the ruling? Do you wish that it had been a little bit more decisive as far as kind of putting a stamp on what's allowed and what's not? if anything?
I think the judge was brilliant because he really went with the law. He applied it to the tie, everything, and he really couldn't go much further because the law doesn't go further. He did, though, say that Google Glass would be considered, in his opinion, in his interpretation of the law, it would be considered a monitor in front of your eyes. So that gives us a clue for us explorers to know that, yeah, if you are mingling with your device and you're using the screen and things like that, you are outside the law right now.
Now you went one step further as a glass explorer. You recorded the press walk after the decision. You start your video; it's on your Plus page. You start the recording while you're inside the, right inside the doors, about to kind of make your way out to the press horde.
Sorry.
That's okay. And, I think a large part of what you were saying as you were there was just kind of educating, the press corps, and hopefully through this, a greater number of people that are, potentially read the case and follow the case about this kind of technology. Do you kind of perceive on a daily basis kind of any backlash, prejudice against glass from people that just don't understand it? Like, is this pretty common, would you say, wearing it 24, all the hours of the day that you're awake?
I really never had a bad experience. Most people are still very curious. I think glass somehow triggers the imagination of the people. It's just people get curious. They saw it on TV. Now they see in person. They're happy, and they're curious. I never really had any problems. And what really it keeps me thinking about this is that the public opinion is very divided, and the people before they try glass and after they try glass, they have completely different experiences. So that's where our job as explorers is, to help people understand, not only because of Google Glass, because of any other wearables. I talk about our new digital brain, and when I talk about new digital brain, there's the devices outside, and then there's wearables, and then there's implants, and that's where we're going to go. So we better get used to it.
I love the concept. I love that you recorded the press chat outside the courtroom, and the fact that all these cameras are pointed at you and you're pointing a camera at them. That's genius.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And they don't know until about halfway through, by the way.
Yes, and I'm doing that a lot in interviews and stuff, and it kind of keeps them a little at bay. And then sometimes when they do a weird cut when you're not live, then you have the full thing, of what you said. So, like I said, it really protects you in so many situations. I feel safer.
And especially when you have so many cameras pointed at you, it's like, obviously the rules have lifted. You might not walk into everyday conversation and record and not tell the person, but when you've got 20 people pointing cameras at you, it's kind of like, yeah, this is okay right now. It's okay for me to do this. How on earth did you get out of your speed ticket?
How what, sorry?
How did you get out of the speed ticket? I'd have to know.
Unfortunately, in that one, it's like almost like I'm in the case of O.J. Simpson kind of technicality thing, which is kind of a bad place to be. But I did follow my lawyer's advice, which was brilliant as far as being a client and getting out of my ticket. And honestly, he did follow the procedures, and he did follow the law to get us out over there. So.
Well, that had to have been the icing on the cake then, I have to imagine.
It's got to be nice.
It feels clean, like it's completely done and finished, and that felt good.
Awesome.
And did you, I mean, at what point did you realize this was going to be a big deal? I mean, like you said, like you were talking earlier, you've got another interview after this show, and you've probably been talking to a lot of folks. I mean, this is kind of your 15 minutes. Did you know going into, okay, I'm going to fight it for court, I got to be prepared for the fact that a lot of people are going to want to talk to me?
Yeah, I already got a little glimpse on the previews when the whole ticket thing happened. So I knew, I didn't know if it was going to dim down or if it was going to be still interesting for people, but I assume people want to know the end of the story. Now we reached the end, so we're done.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. Well, thanks for, talking about all that kind of stuff, but, awesome for us. We have you the entire show, so not just to talk about that stuff. We've got a lot of other Android news, and actually we have other glass-related news, so the top segment is just going to be all about glass. Gina, what's going on? This seemed to hit today.
Well, we heard about wearing glass while driving, but what about wearing glass to a movie theater? A glass explorer in Columbus, Ohio, wears glass all the time, went to the movie theater, sat down, about an hour into the movie, guy comes in, flashes a badge, grabs him, pulls him out, and he gets interrogated by the FBI on the spot.
Whoa.
About recording the film. Apparently, this movie theater had had some problems with people recording the films illegally, and when they saw glass on his head, it was not on and he was not recording. They assumed that he was recording the movie.
Yeah.
I would almost love for them I'm sure it came up, but if I was that guy, I'd probably been like, wait, have you seen video recorded from glass? Like, you think sitting in the movie theater with a camcorder gives a bad transfer of taping a movie? Recording with glass would probably be way worse. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and theater managers, especially now, they have a lot to gain from this. They actually make money if they successfully get someone charged.
Like rewards and stuff?
They get rewards.
Yeah. They had somebody from the FBI, somebody from the MPAA, and they apparently like pulled the glass off of his head when they were like pulling him out of the theater. And he said to them, hey, those cost $1,500. And so once he told them how much they cost, they were a little more gentle with it. And they questioned him for like an hour. And he said to them, hey, just plug it into a computer with a USB cable. You can see there's pictures of my wife and my dog, but I wasn't recording the movie. I can show you that I wasn't recording the movie. And they didn't do that for a long time. And they were saying things to him like, hey man, just tell us who you're working for. Just give him up, give the guy up on the chain up, and we'll let you go. And he was like, I wasn't recording anything. So in the end, they let him go. They took his partner or spouse into another room. So she was in a separate room. And in the end, they let him go. They gave him 4 free movie passes.
I was going to say the two biggest questions were, one is, did he get free movie passes? But then the most important question here is, what movie?
Oh, it was
Jack Ryan.
There you go.
Jack Ryan, Shadow Recruit.
All right, that kind of fits thematically.
So they were expecting there to be piracy. They were expecting people to come in and record the movie. So they were kind of just looking for the guy. So now this guy says that these are prescription glass. And he says that he's been in this movie theater before wearing glass and never had trouble before. And so there you go. I don't know. This is a funny story. I mean, when I heard the story, and Cecilia, when I heard your story too, I thought, well, why tempt fate? Like I would take glass off before I did these things. But it sounds like you, he's really incorporated glass in his everyday life. They're just his glasses, so he just doesn't think about it anymore.
Exactly. I would almost do the same thing because I don't take them out even to go to a restroom, or because I'm not doing nothing weird. So I'm if someone asks me to take them off, I very gladly do, or leave the place. That's for sure. But I think the violence that the story is telling is horrible.
Well, and we're gonna and the tough thing about it is that as we move into a wearable society, over the next, however many years, as we start going to wearable computing, you're gonna get a lot of skeptics, and you get a lot of people who are not supportive of it, and a lot of people who are gonna not understand it and think it's different and weird and a problem with it, and you're gonna run it where and folks like yourself, Cecilia, and other folks who are really blazing this trail. Or it's kind of funny. It's like, when you think about it, it's like the level. I don't want to compare it to anything that's much more larger society impact. But I mean, it's kind of, like it's a form of discrimination. It's like you're choosing to wear this device and use it in a responsible manner. And who are the folks who are going to try to put rules and walls around it and limit your use of it?
It's just it's a level of unknowing. Right now, glass is so limited in distribution, and it has kind of a mystique around it. And part of the allure of glass is, for people that have never put it on, is the amazing things it's capable of. And that's either a good thing, how you look at it, or it's a bad thing, because you're like, it's amazingly capable of invading my privacy or recording my movie because I've never seen it before and seen it in action. So it's just acting on fear of something that you don't know or understand. Yeah. And that's what people like you, Cecilia, that's why that's important, because your role in all of this as an early glass explorer is to educate and to show people, through your case and this guy through going to the movie and everything, that's not always what this is about. It's a different type of technology. It's not always for bad.
Well, and case in point, going to our next story, which, talk about the evolution of wearables, Google revealed that their X Lab is currently testing a new product, a smart contact lens that has that's been developed to monitor blood sugar levels in diabetics, and it's a contact lens with a little sensor, and it uses the stuff in your eye to monitor your blood sugar level. And a friend of mine saw this online and sent it to me and was like, no, and too much. Google Glass is one thing, but they've gone too far. And it's just like,
this is awesome.
And like my point is the exact same thing. Is like, that is awesome. Now it's important to know that this contact lens doesn't give any sort of display. It is really just using the eyeball to monitor levels within the body and then record that data and transmit it to an external device. But think about the applications and the direction that it will go in. And this is the beginning of Star Trek world, you know, and I'm totally for it, but that inherent reaction is fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
yeah, I mean, is your friend a diabetic? I mean, clearly your friend is not a diabetic.
Yeah,
right, because I'm very good friends with a diabetic, and it's a nightmare how often he has to check his blood sugar level. I mean, he just goes through so much just maintaining his his health throughout the day. This is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And why are we talking about this on an Android show? It was done from the Glass. I mean, it's done from the X Labs. But one of the guys, and I didn't write down his name, but he's also part of the Google Glass team. So it's very, very likely that at some point this becomes, as you say, Ron, something bigger. Right now it's starting with, monitoring your glucose levels. But I mean, it's embedded technology in your eyeball. Like, that is so cool. 10 years down the line, maybe not even that long. It'll be interesting to see what this evolves into at Google.
Well, and what I think is interesting and kind of speaks more towards Google and their approach to the world and everything is the quote from the Post, which is in the last paragraph. It says, "We've always said that we seek out projects that seem a bit speculative or strange, and at a time when the International Diabetes Foundation is declaring that the world's quote-unquote losing the battle against diabetes, we thought this project was worth a shot." Mm-hmm. It's hard to argue that, that's a noble kind of approach, and who knows what they will stumble upon that will lead to another discovery, that will lead to another product, that will lead to, it's that waterfall effect of discovery. And, 120 years ago, people laughed at the concept of wireless electricity and wireless signals and things like that, and treated Tesla like he was a crazy person.
So our technical director, Brian, you are diabetic. I just found out in our chat.
Yep. I'm a type 1 diabetic since I was 22. So something like this would be awesome. Like, almost if I could just wake up in the morning and not have to like poke myself and just know where I'm at, or when I'm exercising or something like that. I wholeheartedly, I don't care what information Google gets from me. I would totally do that.
All right.
Good answer. Awesome. Hopefully they roll this out at the next I/O, and Leo can buy you a pair of smart contact lenses.
Well, it could be sooner than you think, Brian, because it says that some Bay Area residents have actually been testing the lenses. So maybe if somebody in Google's watching, or we can make some connections, we can get you in that beta test.
Yeah, because I wear contacts all the time, just not today. So
right.
Yeah, you might have to pick between your contacts for corrective vision and your contacts for diabetic monitoring. I didn't think of that. But, still very cool. Let's take a quick break and thank our first sponsor of today's episode, 99 Designs, continuing to kick butt all over graphic design, projects everywhere. Are you dreaming about the perfect logo, website design, but you don't know how to get started? 99 Designs is perfect for this. If you're worried about budgets, you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff, because 99 Designs is here to help. They are the world's largest graphic design marketplace, making it easy to get a design that you love. You just go to the website, tell them about the design you need, and pick a price package that works for you. Then the fun really begins. Designers from all around the world, the globe, will submit awesome designs to you and basically wait for your feedback. So they're creating this specifically for you and tailoring their design to your specifications in a continual process. Within a week, you're going to pick your favorite of those designs and be the proud owner of a gorgeous new design. There's just a ton of awesome designs that you can go to the website right now and take a look at. I mean, it's top-notch, high-quality stuff. Over 270,000 designers at your fingertips. There's no limit to what you can get designed. You can boost your brand's visibility with a t-shirt, car wrap design, drive more traffic with a sleek new banner ad, or even a landing page. All of this is possible, and you can go to 99 Designs and take a look and kind of get inspired by a few. Projects start at just $199. Your happiness is always 100% guaranteed. Visit 99designs.com/AAA and get a $99 power pack of services for free. Now, a power pack gives you more designer time and attention. 99 Designs will bold, highlight, and feature your design project in 99 Designs Marketplace, and you'll get nearly twice as many designs. It's a lot of designs. Visit 99designs.com/AAA right now to take a look and see what you think. And we thank 99 Designs for their continued support of All About Android. You guys are awesome. All right. I've been waiting all the show for this. This is the big surprise that I teased a little bit earlier. It's time to get into hardware.
Whoa!
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow! How did you keep that quiet the whole time?
Love it.
It's
Love
like
it.
Christmas in January.
It is. That was a huge upgrade.
Yeah, Jeff Kosmicki, who actually did our Android Arena drop.
Yeah.
He's working on all the bumpers right now. So that's the first to come. That's the first, obviously. It's the hardware bumper. And
let's see it one more time.
Yeah?
Let's see it one more time.
We
Let's celebrate it.
twice.
Cecilia,
Sure,
I'm
why
sorry.
not?
We're very excited. Oh, I like that. It's very Tron. Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's a little glitch.
That's a little glitch, right?
I'll correct that.
Yeah, there we
I'm
go.
not sure what that was, but
Little floating Android guy. I dig it.
Nice, and it doesn't show actual phones, so it
Yes.
can't really get outdated. It's very exciting.
it's timeless.
I do miss the
as they
Zoom.
say.
I do miss the Zoom. I'll be honest.
Well, you can go watch a past episode of All About Android. You'll see plenty of Zoom.
Well, that just made my day. So
Awesome. I knew it would. That's why I put a lid on it, because I knew it would make your day. Yeah, I don't know what the glitch is. That must have been on my end because it's not on the source. So I'll figure it out. It'll be better next week. Jeff Kosmicki, thanks
Good job,
for your
Jeff.
continued awesome
nice,
support
Jeff.
and work. All right,
Jeff.
Gina, this was kind of big news, I think, towards the end of last week. Kind of interesting security-related Android news.
Yes, a new Android phone called Blackphone, which is a mobile phone that's going to run a fourth version of Android that's called Private OS. It's built around security and privacy. It's purportedly going to allow for secure calls, texts, file transfers, video chat, private browsing, and VPN anonymization. This is by a company called Silent Circle, which had done an encrypted email service, which they shut down 5 months ago because of the NSA revelations from Edward Snowden. And now they partnered with another company called Geeks Phone to create this Blackphone. So this is really, really cool. They've got a really awesome video that Brian's showing up on the screen right now. It's very slick. Their headquarters, I think, are in Madrid, Spain, and not a whole lot of technical detail available, but it's certainly being positioned to appeal to consumers who are privacy-minded and who are concerned about what's happening with our data, given the revelations. Russell Holly of Geek.com points out that things like the processor and SIM card would still kind of lie outside the control of a security-minded hardware platform, and there's no concrete information available this time about how they secure everything, right? But that's the promise. That's the promise of this phone. Of course, my thing when I read this story, I was like, "Oh, this is really cool." There's obviously a need for this. I like the idea that it's going to be a consumer product that doesn't have that sort of like, security geek kind of spin to it. A real consumer product that appeals to normal people. But the thing about secure communications is like, it not only has to be secure on your end, it has to be secure on the other person's end, right? Like, the fact that my email is secure doesn't mean that yours is, Jason, when I send it to you, how you receive it. So there's a lot of challenges here, but this looks kind of promising. I don't know, would you guys buy a phone that was locked down Android? Really interested to see this version of Android, Private OS, and what that looks like.
Well, I'm not so interested, sorry, in the personal aspect. It's more like in a global solution about the security, but personally doesn't appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think, it also doesn't appeal to me either. I've always fallen on the side of my data isn't that interesting. So I'm not really worried. Like, I don't, but I do think it's interesting to see how this issue comes up, and then how folks have stepped in to innovate, to build around for people who do care about it. You know, where it's the free market okay, great. Well, this is a problem, so we're going to try to create a product for it. Whether or not that product works or not, or gives the illusion of security, or gives the feeling of I've got a Blackphone, and this is, you know, like whether or not it actually does what it claims to do, or actually, you know, to your point, Gina, you know, if you can't guarantee that point-to-point kind of encryption on both sides, how much can you do? But it shows that there are people, they've vetted, there are probably enough people who are willing to pay for it.
Yeah, it's kind of like no progress comes if somebody doesn't do this.
Exactly.
On the other hand, it's kind of, I don't want to say opportunistic.
Oh, it's opportunistic.
But it's very convenient
totally
to do this right now
Yeah.
when, you have to imagine that it requires it on both ends. If you don't have that, then you're instantly probably less secure. But again, we know nothing technical about this. We just know claims, and we know where they came from. And Silent Circle was, you know, definitely a pretty popular, powerful email encryption kind of service. They, like you said, Gina, they kind of went under thanks to, you know, some intense pressure from the NSA around the beginning of the Snowden leaks. So I wouldn't put it past them to being capable to create something, whether it's a true like out of the box solution that really can claim that it's secure end to end, you know, without expecting everyone in the world to also run the same thing.
Right.
I don't know. And for that reason, like I just feel like it's maybe a little opportunity knocks.
And it's also, you got to think about who the customer is, because the customer is either tinfoil hat wearing paranoid folks who don't want anyone to have any of their data or anything like that, people who are scared of the NSA. But then also, let's say it works, let's say it does something. I mean, is this a tool for drug dealers and other forms of criminals that, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like how much, who's buying these phones?
So is a VPN, you know, so is installing a VPN app on your phone or a million other things that you can do with your device right now that you don't need a Blackphone for.
Yeah. Which is funny because our phone is black as well too.
Yeah, it kind of is black, and I do have VPN installed on here. So,
all right. I mean, and are you raising a red flag? You putting a target on your back for even having and using a Blackphone?
Right. Yeah, Gina, you picked up where I was going. Yeah, like is the NSA going to be watching who's buying the Blackphones? You know. Like,
well, according to the video, everyone that has a Blackphone is also going to have a black hoodie that's pulled over their head, wearing black sunglasses. So it'll be pretty easy to know.
Yeah.
Well, you buy it with Bitcoin and Second Life, and no one can track that.
There you go. We'll keep it with the security kind of topic, but not nearly as cracked down on security. But interestingly enough, we've seen thumbprint scanners emerge into the cell phone market. We saw it with the HTC One Max, and then of course we saw it with the iPhone. Which is probably the one that put the fingerprint scanning to unlock your phone on the map. Well, now news is coming out that LG is reportedly bringing the thumbprint scanning technology to the upcoming LG G3 and G2 Pro. It's going to be located on the back of the phone, which is, of course.
That's as LG likes to do, at least in the U.S.
Exactly,
on that device.
And then LG is not left alone in this. There are currently rumors also that Samsung might be planning on ditching their iris scanning technology for the Samsung Galaxy S5.
Which was just a rumor, by the way.
Exactly. So it's easy for them to ditch it.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
You know, in favor for thumbprint scanning. So... you know, if you've got friends with an iPhone and you've been jealous of their thumbprint scanner, if you're an LG customer or maybe a Samsung customer, you might be able to get it soon. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's neat. I still think it's a gimmick.
You know, Cecilia, now I'm thinking about glass. Glass would actually, it seems perfect for a fingerprint scanner, right? Like,
yeah,
I feel like
things become practical because they become muscle memory, like doing this. So I think it might be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's neat, but I don't know if it's required.
Gimmick.
Yeah.
Gimmick.
Not as much of a gimmick as face to unlock, but
yeah, face unlock.
Kind of the same. Maybe a little bit more usable than face to unlock. You have to admit
a little bit. Yeah, I can agree with that. So.
Well, how about a leaked software? I got to tell you, some of the hardware and app news this week was just a little light. So,
well, clearly the biggest news story was the Google Glass.
Absolutely.
Story. So, I mean, that's why everyone kind of.
Yeah, everybody else was just like, we'll wait till next week.
Yeah,
they're like, Cecilia's this week. We'll wait till next week to announce these things.
Reschedule the launch. We just need to scrap the plans.
Man, you really messed messed things up for everybody, Cecilia.
Slightly exaggerated.
There are
Okay.
PR flacks in the Bay Area pulling their hair out and shaking their fist.
Well, speaking of leaked software, first, Samsung, we were just talking about, more TouchWiz leaks are showing up, and they're kind of showing off a more cards-based approach. I doubt this is like a true home screen necessarily, so it's not like a cards-based home screen, but, well, it kind of is, actually.
Yeah, it is. Hey, look at that.
The battery up at the top. I don't know. It could be an app. But anyways, we're seeing a little bit more of these Samsung TouchWiz kind of redesigned images leak out, most of them thanks to EvLeaks. And I don't know, what do you think? thin fonts, cards, feels a little bit more like Jelly Bean Kit Kat.
Yeah, it's feeling definitely current in terms of design, at least.
Which they need.
Yeah. Circle icons. What is with the circle icons, by the way? When did that happen? It's like I woke up and all of a sudden everyone's avatar is a circle.
Oh,
How did that that completely boggles my mind? Did everyone, all app developers, meet sometime in December and be like, "Hey, let's make the avatar circles"?
Circle. It's the new square.
It is, because look, Instagram moved to it, and other things have moved to it, and yeah.
ThinkUp uses
Yes,
circles.
yeah.
It's the current design language.
Am I crazy? Am I the only one who's noticed this? Or
Google Plus is starting to move over to circles as well.
yes.
Well, so Google Plus had Google Plus had circles from the beginning, so it kind of makes sense actually now that I think about it.
Man, if I had a time machine, probably the number one thing I would do is go back to the day Google Plus started and became amazingly diligent about keeping my circles organized.
Oh yeah.
Because right now it's just chaos, and I have no control over it. I've lost it.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't understand the circle icon. So now, the Samsung's getting in on the game.
All right. So Samsung has
But the cards are awesome. The cards, I think it's a new concept that probably Glass helped a lot, and some other features like Google Now. And really, it's like a unit of micro interaction with its own behavior. I really like the concept of cards. And sometimes I wish some things in my cell phone were cards too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about those Samsung card designs, Brian, if you can pull them back up, they're more widescreen. It reminds me of the Glass kind of point of view in that square. Like they're, so you got to wonder where if these are actually legitimate cards, but you see how it's the full width of the, it seems a little different than the Google design, which tends to be the white card that's kind of squared off and flexible. But like that widescreen kind of view, that kind of applies really well with the Google Glass point of view. And then who knows if they're going to integrate this into their watch. So.
Yeah, Samsung comes out with their own cards-based watch. Yeah, totally. I could see that.
Interesting.
Other leaked software pointing to Sony's unannounced flagship phone coming out sometime this year. Might actually
unannounced. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Be honest, it doesn't exist.
This is less news and more rumor. This segment, but let's see here. Sporting a 4K video camera.
Of course it is.
As well as support for high frame rate video. Other features, dual home screen support for better accessibility. Yep. So, different a couple of options for your home screen. Smart backlight controls, kind of similar to the Smart Stay, I think it is on Samsung, where you look away and after a while it knows it can turn the screen off safely. And a built-in answering machine.
Don't we have voice?
An answering machine?
Oh, wait a minute.
Multiple home screens and an answering machine.
I don't know.
I like this answering machine idea.
Yeah? This is going to catch on.
What's the point of that?
Yeah, I know. I was trying to figure that one out.
I mean, we have voicemail. We have visual
I know,
voicemail.
but why leave your voicemails in the cloud when you can have it on your device?
Right,
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. It's like the anti-cloud. There we go. Yes, great. Rumor watch is over. Gina, what you got?
We have a voicemail from Alex, who has yet another use of the Google Wallet card. The Google Wallet card, excuse me.
What you got, Alex?
I just heard your podcast for the week of January 14th, and there was a caller who called about his Google Wallet use, and I wanted to share mine. I have recently had my credit card compromised a couple times, I believe, at gas stations, at those little things that basically steal your credit card number. And I have started using my Google Wallet card at places where that I think might be shady. And if you guys have ever had your card compromised, you know how much of a pain it is to change your billing information everywhere and reorder the card. And with Google Wallet, if it ever does get compromised, it's relatively easy to cancel and reorder. Plus, there's only a limited amount of money on there. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. Thanks so much for the show. Bye.
That's interesting. A line of defense.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
More and more, it sounds like people, what they're actually using this for is some sort of like backup or safeguard of some sort. It's not a main point, not a primary thing, but it's a backup.
Maybe I haven't gotten mine yet, but maybe I'll go full. Maybe I'll just go full Google.
I got one and done nothing with it. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
It's not like I need yet another credit card, right?
You know, maybe I'll when I get mine, I'll load everything up.
Yeah, dedicate yourself to it.
I will go full Google Wallet for a week and see how it goes.
Be a Google Wallet card
pioneer.
explorer.
There you go. Yeah, I'm on it. Right here.
The thing is that you have to keep it's not a credit card, right? It's a charge card. Like you have to keep filling it up.
But can you link it to an account? Can I be like, if it dips below $50, put it on? You know.
I don't think so. I think you have to have funded it with money. So that's sort of a limitation. I mean, that's a nice thing in a case like this where you don't want it to go over, or you're giving it to a kid, or it's your emergency $20 in your glove compartment. But it's not such a good thing if you've forgotten to fill it up. Although, I mean, you can fill it up from your phone.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like you can fund it from your phone, so your phone's always with you. So maybe that's not a non-issue. But the whole credit card thing is a huge, especially after the Target hack. Huge problem.
Absolutely.
We had so many credit cards fail on us when we charge our customers for ThinkUp, which because they authorized in October, and we just charged them in January. And in that time, the Target hack failed, and we lost like 15% of our. It was crazy. So that's definitely a big thing. And I personally know 3 people who had fraudulent charges show up and had to get replace their cards because of Target or some other sort of hack. Somewhere along the line. So good idea, Alex. I like it.
Absolutely. Like it as well. Let's take another break, a quick break, and thank our other sponsor of today's episode, lynda.com. Love lynda.com. It's an online learning company that can help anyone learn creative software and business skills to achieve your personal or your professional goals. They have videos that cover the gamut. With lynda.com's subscription, members receive unlimited access to a vast library of current and engaging video tutorials across a wide variety of subjects. Everything from creative, software skills, to business negotiation, app development. With lynda.com, you're going to learn how to code, create, and build Android applications in Java, from the foundations of object-oriented Java programming to using the Android API to creating engaging mobile apps. You can learn to develop apps for today's desktop and mobile platforms, build web apps with .NET, PHP, MySQL, and you can improve your language skills with JavaScript, Ruby, C, C++, R, and so much more. It's all over the map. If you're an Android developer, this is like the excellent eternal resource, and they just go into so much detail here. They make it really easy to follow along. Of course, the things that I'm a little bit more interested in on a daily basis outside of working here at Twitter are music, and I've just found a ton of great music courses there as well around music production and all that kind of stuff. Setting up my studio at our new house that's being built right now, and it's really coming in handy on how to set up the acoustics and all that kind of stuff. Now, for fans of this show, there's a ton of great content to help you become a better developer. You can check out Lynda's developer tools and tutorials to learn the fundamentals of programming. They also have specialized insight on just a number of languages. There's just a number of things that you can do with Lynda. You can improve your skills, learn new software, and basically keep up with technology because their content covers all types of technology. They have over 2,000 courses with new courses added daily. And Android developers, you can find a number of tutorials that are specific to developing for the platform, including foundations of programming, Android app development with Java Essential Training, Android SDK Essential Training, up and running with Java applications, and building and monetizing game apps for Android. And that's just a few. That's just a sampling. They have a ton of stuff targeted at Android developers. Instructors, they're working professionals. They're at the top of their fields and very good teachers, expert teachers, in fact. So they're high-quality video production shot in state-of-the-art studios, locations that you likely aren't going to be able to go into, and they're bringing this to you from those places. They're definitely not the kind of homemade videos you're going to just find on YouTube. It's curated course content and very easy to follow. The videos, they provide you answers. They give you the transcripts so you can search it on your own, put in keywords, and jump right to a point in the video that's incredibly helpful to you at that moment. So if you're looking for a particular thing, it makes it very easy to look through. It's all transcribed for you to make it easy. You can watch from your computer, tablet, mobile device, and you can switch and pick up on a chapter that you left off, start on one, finish the video on another. It's just all super seamless, and that's why lynda.com is so great. So here's what you can do. It's only $25 a month for access to the entire lynda.com course library, or for $37.50 a month, you can subscribe to the premium plan, which actually includes exercise files, and that lets you follow along with the instructors using the same project assets they do. And that's invaluable to be able to have direct access to that kind of stuff. You can try lynda.com right now for a free 7-day trial. That's free for 7 days. Visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid to get access to the entire library, unfettered access. That's over 2,000 courses free for 7 days. That's lynda.com/allaboutandroid. Lynda's fantastic. I know it. You should know it too. So go visit lynda.com/allaboutandroid and check it out for yourself. I know you'll be happy with what you find. All right, let's jump into our old bumper apps segment. See, I see some HTC Sense from like Donut.
Yeah, donut.
There's some donut screenshots in there. Now we just have to make fun of the apps segment a bunch.
Yeah, is it safe to say that the apps is a lame duck? Is it going to be so we can just be relentlessly mean about it until it happens?
We can be mean about the bumper.
The bumper, right? Not the segment.
But let's not apply undue pressure on Jeff. Although,
well, hey,
we're
listen,
really looking forward to
I think Jeff can take the pressure. I mean, he's done a really good job up to this point, and so I'm actually a big fan right now. So, but yeah. So speaking of apps, getting into the little gaming side of things, remember that little thing called Ingress?
Oh
yeah, that was fun.
I remember trying to get into that. And
yeah, Cecilia, did you play Ingress at all, or? No?
Tiny bit, no. I couldn't have the time.
Yeah, I'm with you. I checked it out. I didn't have the time. But maybe someday we will have the time. And when we do, we could play the new game that Google's Niantic Labs has announced that they're going to be following up with. It's called Endgame, and it's planned to launch sometime in Q3 or Q4 2014. And it's not just a game, but it is a cross-media interactive title. A little transmedia action going on there. Been a couple of years since you heard that word. It's going to be paired with a trilogy of novels that can be referenced along with YouTube videos and social media tie-ins to help you navigate and play the game. To top it off, each novel and associated game will have a real prize, gold. All right,
gold!
Folks, you can solve the puzzles in the game for a key to the case. All of this will be streamed on YouTube. So they're really going for it with this whole. I just think of Ready Player One when I read about this stuff. If you read that novel,
no, I keep meaning to.
Oh, you've got to read Ready Player One. Yeah. It's really good. It's really good.
It's in my Audible account.
Yeah,
I just haven't read it yet.
You really should, or listen to it or whatnot. But this whole idea of playing a game in the real world, I love it. I love the idea of crossing the media with it. I will never have time to even open it up.
Yeah, it's like I wish this happened like 15 years ago.
Yes, when I was playing
King's Quest
4 for hours and Space Quest 3.
Space Quest. Oh my
the Pirates of
God.
Pestulon. There you go.
They need to combine. It needs to be casual. It just needs to be more casual. Like Ingress was so cool, but for a casual player who would just log on to a couple times a week, walking from one place to another, it just was too much to grok. Like if they can make it a little more casual, that you can dip in and dip out and not have to really commit all that time, I think that would be better.
Yeah, it's quite the mountain to traverse. Something like Ingress, you really got to dedicate yourself to it to really kind of
it's like anything. It's like when I played World of Warcraft, I was completely committed to it and used every free moment of my time to play it, and I had a great time doing it. But then other things suffered. The moment I stopped playing that, then my career took off, ironically. So I just kind of, I don't know.
Like, wait a minute, did I just learn a lesson here?
We gotta admit that it's super brilliant to mix game and YouTube.
Yeah.
Like if you watch kids today, and I have a 13-year-old in the house, that's all they do. They do games and they do YouTube. So if you put the two together, it has to be brilliant.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And factor in novels. I mean, factor in actual reading and a storyline, and like
Never mind any of that. Factor in gold.
Gold. I know. Yeah.
Gold. That's the prize.
That's the other weird thing. Is it bricks? Is it bullion? Is it what form is this gold taking? That's what I would like to see. But yeah, we'll see. So clearly Niantic Labs is having a blast coming up with this stuff for the next generation of gaming. So I'll check it out. I checked out Ingress. I'll check this out. I won't play it, but
you never know. Who
knows what the end game is?
Okay, so it's kind of slow on the app front. That was like the big no-brainer had to be in there. LogMeIn.
Well then.
Okay. Well, hey. Okay. I know it does kind of hurt actually. I use LogMeIn, not daily, but almost daily. Yeah. Remote login for my PC at home, and then if I'm at home and I need to remote into here.
Yeah, I remember you're a big fan of it. Yeah.
I definitely used it. They announced that their free tier of remote control and access of the PCs. That's going away. Users have 7 days to decide if they want to pay $49 a year for the service, which allows remote access of 2 computers.
The Piper came calling, didn't it?
I know. A part of me kind of can't.
Live to TeamViewer.
Oh yeah, so there's TeamViewer, exactly, and that was the kind of suggestion that I was given today, and I installed it and everything. I used LogMeIn to remote into my home computer to install TeamViewer, to then uninstall LogMeIn, and the minute I uninstalled LogMeIn, it goes away. I'm like, it's gone. It was so surreal. Anyways, what is the Android hook? They completely redesigned their Android app to sweeten the pot.
that you've now abandoned because you have to pay for it.
Maybe not. Maybe you were holding out to pay for the service until they made a new Android app.
Is this design enough to pay for the service? Clearly, this is a product you enjoyed using. Now they've got a redesigned app, and you're turning your back.
It's hard to pay for a service when there's another one that does the same thing for free.
How's their app?
Actually, really good. Actually, when I was using it, I was like, wow, this is kind of better.
Yeah.
TeamViewer is kind of better.
TeamViewer is
there
awesome.
you go.
I think you buried the lead on this story. It's just
we got there eventually. Look, it's a long show. We can take our time. Anyways, there you go. Log me in by TeamViewer. Hello. Okay. And Gina, what awesome app news do you have?
We've got yet another music subscription service available. Beats Music just launched their new service in an Android app. It launched today for $10 a month, and that gives you access to 20 million songs that are curated specifically for your individual taste. AT&T subscribers can get access to a $14.99 family plan. And unfortunately, thanks to the storm, I didn't get a chance to try this out myself today. So I haven't had a chance to actually take a look, but I guess it's nice to have options. Have you guys signed up? Have you tried it?
I haven't checked it out yet, but I read about this, ironically enough, in the pages of Entertainment Weekly. Last week, they had an article about it because Jimmy Iovine, the guy from Interscope, who's also the guy who did Beats. That's Entertainment Tonight. You're singing. It was. Wait a minute. That was. I almost got a spit take out of him.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yes.
I was.
That's like double points.
Is Entertainment Tonight even still around?
No. Mary Hart and John Tesh.
No, you're right. It's so not around.
Wow.
I'm an 80s kid.
Anyway, so am I. Anyway, so in the pages of Entertainment Weekly, which very much still is around, and they've got a great tablet version as well, too. But the chief creative officer of this project, of this Beats Music subscription, is Trent Reznor of Nine Inch Nails. And from reading from the article and from what I know of Reznor, this isn't just like, oh, here's some money and endorse our product. Trent was like, no, he's like, there's a whole section where he's talking about, he's like, when Pandora came out, he's like, for the first hour I used Pandora, I thought it was the most genius thing. And then after an hour, I realized what was happening and realized it was the worst thing because it was just playing through a bunch of songs and the algorithm wasn't really that great. And he goes on and on about the idea of music exploration and going into a record store and discovering new music and having the clerk at the store tell you. And that's what they're aiming for this service to do, which is a complaint of the other services, which they're not very, they're great at streaming the library, but they kind of fall short of that sort of thing. That's the big problem with music, and here I am on my music rant or whatever, but replicating that, go to the record store and flip through the CDs or the records or whatever, and then talk to a clerk and learn about new music that way, and read Rolling Stone or read Maximum Rock and Roll or whatever your periodical of choice was, has all gone by the wayside, and now it's all fragmented. If they can do what they're going after, that's interesting. I'm going to check it out. I don't know if I'm going to ditch Google Play Music in favor of it, but I'll check it out. At minimum. So I trust Reznor. So
you trust the Trent.
I trust the Trent.
Trust in Trent.
Yeah.
Reasonable.
We're being corrected in the chat room. Entertainment Tonight is still on.
No, is it really?
But it's just not, John Tesh.
All right.
And,
See, now if Brian was really good, he would have.
What did you say? Brian apparently is really good.
He blew the audio cue though.
Oh yeah, I remember this sassy saxophone solo.
Yep.
And watch AA get pulled off of YouTube.
I know, right? And we're done.
Look at those stars, Eric Estrada.
Oh man, this is my childhood right here. It's kind
Star
of depressing.
Trek. Look at that.
Star Trek.
Oh, this is super old entertainment
really
tonight.
old,
That's super old. I was of the John Tesh, Mary Hart era. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Nonetheless.
There we go. We just brought Beats
Cecilia,
music.
I'm sorry. We're in a wacky mood this week. I apologize.
That's so good. I love
having
it.
extra
I love
fun
it.
tonight.
I'm having fun here.
I think that Beats Music and Entertainment Tonight from the 80s was an obvious kind of
a connection. Yeah,
connection.
Yeah.
So anyways, Ron, there's an email.
We did get an email. Ryan writes in and says, I can't help but notice that some apps in the Google Play Store have not been updated for years. These apps were clearly made for older versions of Android and for obviously smaller screen sizes. Problem is that sometimes these apps just don't work on newer phones, and the developers clearly abandoned the app, so emails or bad reviews will have no effect. This occurred to me after searching for a good solitaire app. Finally found one that had the user experience I wanted, yet the cards were tiny and barely filled the screen. I imagine this has to be an easy fix, so I emailed the developer. After sending the email, I noticed the app was last updated in 2011. After how many years do apps continue to remain in the store without any attention from the developer? I would love to hear what you guys think about this.
Kind of an interesting question. Like, I don't think there is a limit.
No.
Well, there isn't, as far as I know. But I mean, should there be? At a certain point, an app doesn't work on most of the devices. A developer hasn't given it years worth of. And it's just clogging up the number, of apps that you have to sift through in the store.
I love the idea of an app graveyard, and Ryan provided the link so we can see the game that we're talking about here. And this poor developer now is going to get hit with a bunch of emails. But I love the idea of just all these apps just sitting on the virtual shelf that are out there.
Yeah,
and my immediate thought is that Google's got it. If Google can limit what devices I can install an app on, and look at that. That looks like a nice little game.
Yeah.
It does.
I wonder what
Doter
Limited. What does Doter Limited do? That's the name of the developer. Brian, go up and click on the name of the developer. Let's see what other apps he's done. Oh, they've done a lot of games.
Lots of card games and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, but so if they can limit what device the app gets installed on, isn't there some sort of, hey, this hasn't been updated since X date, so therefore it's not going to work on the, is there stuff on the Google Play Store that they can do to prevent that? So even though it shows up, I can't install on my device because it's too old. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think you can do it in reverse. You can do it in reverse, but I don't think you can do it the other direction. I don't know.
Yeah, this is tough. I mean, speaking as a developer who has an app in the Play Store that hasn't been updated in a few months, and periods of time have gone, 9 months even. When my daughter was born, I think I maybe have gone a year without updating my app. I mean, it still worked. I was still responding to reviews. I mean, I do think that the rate of update should be one of the signals that Google uses in terms of ranking apps in search results. So like number of reviews, number of downloads, number of, and the last time it was updated. So I think that should be true. On the other hand, I feel like as a consumer, I know when I go shopping for technical books, for example, if I'm looking for a tech book, the first thing I look at is the date of publication, right? Because most of the material can be rendered completely, useless if it's more than a couple of years old. And I think that as a consumer, you kind of have to be aware of when last time an app was updated and take advantage of that 15-minute window you have to return an app. you know, if it's an app that you're paying for anyway. So if you buy, is this free? Yeah, this is free. I mean, this is a free solitaire app. I kind of feel like, you know, like if it doesn't look exactly the way that you want, like you keep looking. And I know it's like a little bit of a waste of time because you have to install it or whatever. But I don't know. I think the responsibility lays both on the person who's trying the app and also Google to, you know, sort of rank apps by how recently updated they are. And you can tell by the kind of assets that the app includes, if they're high res, if they're compatible with certain versions of Android, you know, explicitly compatible with the most recent versions of Android, et cetera.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. Some sort of like, you know, relevance based, you know, based on the last time it was updated, the version of Android that was developed for at the time. Because if there's an app that's, you know, perfect for Eclair and, you know, not much else, and that ends up coming up at the front of the search result, that is absolutely not what I was searching for. Right. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, they've got to put in some sort of filtering around.
Some sort of, if they don't already.
I love the idea of this digital wasteland. I mean, when you think about the number of apps and RSS feeds and other products that have been put out that are just sitting there, completely abandoned and maintained or unmanaged. It just, I think we're going to see that a lot more as we go. And I don't know how Apple handles it on the iOS side, but I imagine it's got to be the same problem there, where there are just apps that have been made for, iOS 3, and they're just, so who knows?
Yeah, better ways of discovery always works. Like if we had something like other people that use these apps also like these apps, that would be a smart way for me to find, because my friends usually like awesome stuff and cool stuff like you guys. So that would help.
Agreed. All right. Should we review some apps of our own in the Android arena?
Let's do it.
Yes? Okay.
So many enter, but only one lives. Android Arena.
Wow. Okay, so last week we had, I'm waiting for the straw poll to load up here. It was episode 144. We had 3 apps in the arena: Photo Calendar Widget, JotterPad X, and 12 Hours. And the results are in, and it looks like 12 Hours wins, 49%.
That is a very clean split there, by the way. Look at that. That is like 50% and a quarter and a quarter. Like, that is, yeah.
No kidding.
Pretty good.
49% for 12 Hours. Second place, Photo Calendar Widget at 26%. And I'm sorry, Ron, JotterPad X, 25%. So you lost by 1 percentage point.
3 votes away from being a tie for second. I'll take it. That's fine. And by the way, audience, way to fail me again.
Well, this could be your week, Ron.
It could be my week. It could be my week, and I'm very excited for it because it's been a while, but I think I found a wacky, zany app that you're all going to love. I was looking around. So, I mean, part of this also is to kind of give you a peer into the mind of Ron as I try to pick my app. I
feel like we peer into the mind of Ron a little bit more every week.
A little more every week.
Yeah.
As I'm browsing the internet, I'm reading app reviews, and I'm looking in the Google Play Store and stuff like that. We all do the same thing. We do quick judgment. We do quick, kind of like whatever. And how often do we judge an app based on its icon? Right?
Yeah.
I saw this app, and I think
icon's very important.
Icon is very important. I'm going to challenge that notion.
Oh.
So I had about 5 apps I was mulling between as I was trying to decide what app I was going to show. And this app, which I'm going to show today, called Mumble, not a great icon there.
It kind of looks a little MS Paint.
Yeah, a little bit. And I was like, oh, there's no way this is any good. But actually, it's quite the little ingenious application. It's difficult for me to actually demo it because basically what Mumble is a way for you. Go back to me, Brian. Mumble is a way for you. I wasn't quite ready yet. You jumped the gun there. But I like the initiative. Mumble is a way for you to take over the vibration control on your phone for notifications and apply an insane level of detail to how your phone notifies you of incoming messages. All right. So first and foremost, you need to download it and you need to install it. And then what you need to do is you need to turn off vibrating notifications from your applications. And now you can take me, Brian. So when you open up the app, it looks like this. Again, not the greatest design. We're not really using Holo or anything like that. Let me turn down my brightness a little for you.
Yeah,
there you go.
Watch your glare.
Yeah.
A little light dancing.
Okay, cool. You go. So very, very simple design. When you hit instructions, a lot of text telling you how to use Mumble. Trust me, reading it is worth it, though. But if you scroll all the way down to
Oh, my goodness. Is that a TOS?
Yeah, no, trust me. It's worth it. It's worth it, folks. Trust me. They give you very explicit instructions for depending on which SMS app you use on how to turn off your notifications. So whether you're using the stock default one or Go SMS or Hand Ascent or Chomp, or for me, I was using Textra. So the instructions are right there. So once you do that, I feel like that should have been the first thing in the instructions, but you know, they're learning. But once you do that, then you are welcome to a enormous amount of settings that you can adjust. So basically you can turn on or off Mumble, period. Okay. Then you can also turn off whether you want to override your phone's mute control. So you can have the application ignore if you've muted your phone, which is interesting. Then it goes through a whole different level of settings and is actually using some pretty smart filtering of the text messages that come through to identify these things. So for example, on your basic settings, you can have a vibrate pattern occur for every word, every 2 words, every 3 words, every 4 words, every 5 words, every 10 words. The idea behind that is that if you get a short text message, you only get a short vibrate. If you get a long text message, you will get a long vibrate, which I find an interesting idea. You can limit the amount of vibration. So you can stop it after 25 words or 20 words.
It doesn't just go
exactly.
for a minute.
And you can also change the intensity. So you can change it to mumble or mumble or mumble or mumble. Right? So you can change the amount of vibrating that's happening. And you can also change how many times the notification occurs, whether once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. So then, in addition, you can add these filters that they've already added. So if there's a lot of excitement in your message, it will detect that. And that's detected by lots of exclamation points.
Oh, okay. All right.
It will go down to syllables and vibrate based off the number of syllables, right? As well as emphasis on words, okay? Now, what's interesting is that it can ignore words. So if someone sends you a one-word message, like if I say, hey, I'm going to be late for the show, and you just write back, okay, I can have it ignore that message because it's just a one-word answer, and it's not obviously not important. If you're like me, often you correct typos. You send a text message and you realize you spelled a word wrong, and then you'll write it correctly with an asterisk after it. If it sees that, you can say ignore that because I don't care about a text message fixing a typo. If you get duplicate messages, it will detect that and not only won't vibrate a second time for the duplicate message. And also you can have it to ignore spam, and it's got some logic in there to detect what are spam messages and that sort of thing. That one's a little tricky. But then even more crazy is that you can add in context to the message so that if you have a emergency or urgent message, it will detect it and you can specify the type of alert to do. And so that's if someone, and they've got filters in here that are detecting what are urgent messages, like they say emergency or 911 or things like that. Messages that contain questions, you can change the vibrate pattern for questions. So there's a whole bunch of different patterns. You can turn on or off emoji support if you want to detect emojis. If you're detecting emojis, if someone sends you positive emoticons, you can vibrate differently. Negative emoticons.
This is a lot of granular control.
It gets better. You can set an NSFW, there you go, guys, an NSFW filter so that if a message contains lots of curses, it can vibrate a different pattern. So if you're somewhere in public where you can't really look at your phone that's got a lot of expletives, you know that this message has a lot of curses in it. All right. Also one that includes information about money or businesses. In addition, they say they're going to add custom filters. I'm very curious about that. They do have a sleep mode where you can turn on and say, listen, don't vibrate between 11 p.m. and 6 a.m., you know, that kind of control, which honestly is a nice little function in and of itself because often I'll leave my phone ringer on, but I'll go to bed and I'll get woken up at 4 in the morning by a text message from my sister. So that's good. So, and then they give you a little test area where you can type in a message to test the vibrate to see how it works. And based off the various filters and that sort of thing. I played with this for about a half an hour last night. And again, I mean, it will vibrate. I mean, it will, like here, I'm going to test it. And it's hard to test it here on the show.
You set it on the table and then you probably hear it.
So you can go. I'm going to demo fail. Oh, wait, it's a one-word message. See, it didn't fail because it was a one-word message. I just wrote test. All right. So hang on.
Mumble, what do you have to say about that?
Test. Okay, there you go. Ready?
Oh, okay.
See, so that was 5 words, and so it vibrated 5 times. Hang on, let me do it again.
I may have messed that up.
There you go. Here we go. So this should vibrate 6 times.
All right. I don't think that comes through the mic very well.
Anyway, so so if you want granular control of your vibration and your notifications, Mumble is the way to go. It's only $1.49 in the Google Play Store. I mean, it's hysterical, and it's intelligent, it's intuitive, it's all these adjectives that
you're gonna have to remember what these vibration.
Well, that's the one thing. You can go a little crazy with it if you want to, but that said, the idea of having a message that comes through that says, "Oh my God, we're on our way to the hospital. This is awful. We need to talk to you immediately." To have that vibrate differently,
nonstop.
Exactly. So there you go.
Yeah.
So Mumble, there's your crazy app. It's pretty cool though. Don't mock it. It's pretty
Mumble with an exclamation point.
Mumble with an exclamation point,
which is important.
If you scroll through past the text, it's amazing.
Yep. Whew. So there you go.
That was intense.
It was a Mumble.
Gotta say, we haven't had that kind of exploration of settings in quite a while.
So don't always judge an app by its icon. That's the lesson.
True.
That's the lesson.
Or
Cecilia thinks I'm crazy, by the way.
Or MS Paint is good enough for your app. Yeah. No, I think Cecilia.
I think I would be half an hour to decipher the vibration. I understand English language better.
I have a much simpler app than Ron's.
All right.
Mine is actually incredibly simple.
I won't judge you for it.
It's called Pedometer. Now, there's a million apps in the Play Store that are called Pedometer, so you probably want to search for Pedometer, and then the developer is J, the number 4, and then VELIN. J for Velin, or like whatever. Javelin. So if you do Pedometer, J4, or, oh, never mind.
Javelin.
There we go. Javelin, but with a 4 instead of an A. I don't know the easiest way to say this so that you know how to search for it, people. Use the QR code that's on the screen. There we go. Anyways, so what is this? This is an app. It's very lightweight. It doesn't use any extra battery, but what it does is it taps into the hardware step sensor.
I like how it's feet on your phone, too.
Oh, yeah. It's totally planned. Not really. So essentially, it's a pedometer that's always running and has a social aspect to it. It's really not a whole lot more than a pedometer, right? So right now it's telling me that, you know, my goal on a day is set at 10,000 steps. I've done a lot of sitting today, so I have 5305 steps to go. I can go into that and it'll kind of show me. It's logging me into play, so there's a gaming aspect to this. So essentially it'll show you the last 7 days. Yesterday, all I did pretty much all day while my wife was homesick, I went to our new house and painted and stepped all over that dang place, obviously, because I did 12,709 steps. So it gives you, on a daily basis, kind of, you know, where you are and, you know, have you reached your goal. The kind of interesting part about it is that it is, you know, tapped into play games. So you can go to achievements. I have the 10,000 steps in 1 day, boots are made for walking 2 achievement. But there's, you know, a few different ones, marathon, all this kind of stuff. And I think the cool thing about this is you're not burning battery while running this pedometer. It taps into the hardware step sensor. So really, this is all happening anyways. This is just an app that's tapping into it and counting those steps as they happen. And I think Google now also has this built in, and you see that card every once in a while where it shows you like, you walked this many steps in January. This taps into it on a daily level. You can also go into, you know, leaderboards and see among my circles, of which I'm the only person with this app, I'm first, so yay. But public, man, I'm only in the top 32%, and there are people doing a lot of stepping. So anyways, it's a very simple pedometer app, but I just liked its small footprint, and I liked the kind of nice little touch of a little gaming aspect to kind of add a little bit of gamification to it. And yeah. Check it out if you have a Nexus 5 or any device. Maybe is Nexus 5 the only one that has the hardware step sensor at this point?
I think it might be.
Yeah,
was that a selling point of it?
I feel like that's kind of one of these things that Google. Oh, hey, incompatible. Yeah, there you go. Incompatible with all of your devices. It might just be Nexus 5 for now, but I think it's a cool indication of definitely what Google wants to do going forward is having, you know, more of these sensors dedicated to certain things. This is kind of one of those. So. Probably not going to win because of the fact that you might not be able to install it on your device, but it's a cool insight into where Google's head is, even though it's not a Google app, but cool stuff. So pedometer, search for Javelin with a 4. There we go.
Lead speak Javelin.
Yeah, lead speak Javelin. All right, so Cecilia, I hear you, you know, have a service / app that you're kind of working on that you might want to show off on the show. What you got?
So what we have is an application that's called LinksFit, and it is a fitness companion. We're using wearable computers to bring an immersive, fun experience and bring fitness. Having a coach in your ear, it drives you through the process. And so every day you get your fitness fit, we call it, which is a little workout. And because it's a Google Glass application originally, you can, as you do your exercise, your sit-ups or whatever it is that you're doing, your squats, it will track everything through your sensors, your accelerometer, gyroscope, and it's counting for you. So it's cheering for you, counting your moves, and letting you share your PI. We call it PI, pace, intensity, and energy, and endurance, I'm sorry. And that's what we're doing with LinksFit with Byte and Atom.
Awesome.
Cool.
Now, and by the way, I think your app has the distinction of being the first glassware in the arena.
Ooh, it is. Yeah. It's amazing.
I can't think of an episode that's probably better fit for having a glassware app in the arena. But so this is cool. So you've been working. You guys have been working on this for a little while now. I've definitely seen a lot of Noble Ackerman, right? He's
Ackerson, yes. Noble Ackerson.
There we go, Ackerson, on Google Plus, and he's always getting fit with glass, and this is kind of what it's all about. So what are we looking at right here? Is this what you actually see in the glass? Yes, some
of this screen is what you see. You are guided through a video for the first time. So if you don't know how to do a particular workout, it will teach you, and then it will guide you through the actual activity and show and count with you and time-wise measure everything you're doing. So what we're trying is to help people hold hands in their path to health and help get people healthier, including myself. I'm on my day 23 of 30 trying to do this workout daily. And it's fun. It's fun also to share with others that are doing like the same challenge. So we all started, like many of us, started like a New Year resolution kind of challenge. And we're together trying to, do this workout daily.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I mean,
there's also, it's not only for glass. What we're trying to do now is also open a little bit more. We started experimenting with Chromecast. So you have your glass on and you have your TV, and if you're home, you can do it with your TV in front. And that's been like one of the best additions. And now we realize, and we're starting to research on like Plantronics Bluetooth device that would also track your movements. So for someone that doesn't have glass, they would also be in the Android world, especially, they would also be included on this fitness.
Yeah. Awesome.
And that's exactly what Novel, I think, is showing now on the TV. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, cool.
You see, this is the kind of thing where, like, when glass came out, we're really going to have to see what developers do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I'm impressed.
The Chromecast integration, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Check that out.
It looks like
you're
magic.
Casting, so you're casting from glass.
So in the future, I think we're going to have an alternative Android version for you to cast from your cell phone too. But what you don't want to be doing when you're working out is looking at your phone. What's next exercise? Because a lot of people are trying to exercise with tablet, and it's such a pain. So either your TV or your synchronized with your glass or your Bluetooth device, and that's the basic idea.
Awesome.
Really neat. Really neat.
I'm waiting for yoga. I love yoga, so I'm waiting we are working with exclusive providers for content. And that's the idea, to give a broad, content so people can change their workout if they get bored and find exactly what is that makes the trick for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yoga seems like a perfect application for yoga.
I would love it. Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's very cool.
So that's LinksFit, LYNXFIT, and I know it's in a limited beta right now. People that are interested in finding out more about this or even installing it, is it possible to get at this point, or what is kind of the news on release?
Yes, anybody that can do an ADB install. So it's a side-loaded application at this point on the beta phase. So you can go to invite.linksfit.com and you'll get instructions on how to install it, and you can start playing with it. But we are also, hoping for official release sometime with undefined time.
Well, that's fantastic. I love seeing what you guys are doing with Glass, and then the Chromecast integration. Like, we're all kind of wondering, we're still in that early stage. I mean, we're in an early stage with both Glass and Chromecast, but Chromecast 2 kind of feels like just open the gates a little bit more. They finally did that with Glass, and now we're seeing
it's still the top
interesting stuff. Yeah,
it's still the top of the first inning. It's not even.
Totally.
The game has barely even started with both devices. So
it's cool to kind of see the possibilities there. So that's Links Fit, and go to the site and check it out if you want to be part of the beta. You can sideload the file.
Very cool.
Now, Gina, I think I have your app installed. In fact, I know I do, so I'll try and keep up. Go ahead and talk about it.
Cool. This is a really, really, really simple app, but I like it a lot. It's called Quicker without the E. So quick and the letter R. And it's a launcher, but it's not really a launcher. It works on top of any other launcher. So you don't have to switch launchers in order to use Quicker. What it does is it just adds another gesture to your phone's home screen in order to do an action. So yeah, Jason's showing you right there. It's got this concept of panels. So you see all 4 panels listed there, 2 on the left side, 2 on the right. And you assign an action to the panel. It can be recent contact, favorite contacts, running apps, recent app settings. And it means that once that's configured, that you can swipe in from any one of those panels and execute one of those actions. So I go to recent apps all the time, right? So instead of double tapping the home button, I could just swipe in from the top right in order to see recent apps. I also really like it for favorite contacts. So it's just basically like a really, really simple launcher. It's easy to use with one hand. You swipe in and then you drag your finger across and you release on the action that you want to perform. And it just kind of just gives another sort of easy way to perform a quick action on your phone without going into the app drawer or pulling down the notification chain. It just reduces taps, essentially. It's free for one panel, so you can download it and try out one panel for free. And you can also customize panels. You just in settings, Jason, you can make the gesture width larger, and you can set up custom panels and name them and assign actions to them. So you can try it for free and get one panel. If you like it, you can upgrade to premium. I think it's $2 or $2.02 to get additional panels. So yeah, there you go. It's an in-app purchase, which is nice. You don't have to uninstall or reinstall.
I mean, $2, okay. $2.02.
That's crossing the line. Yeah, you just cost yourself a win there, Gina.
So I think the reason why, and I noticed that favorite was spelled in British.
Yeah,
I think that it's an international app, and it was just a conversion thing. Yeah, that's what the 2 cents is about.
That always kind of cracks me up.
So Quicker, and I realized this app looked really familiar to me, and I realized it was because I had actually done Swipe Pad, which is a very similar app in the arena, like a few episodes back. I think episode 103, so quite a few episodes back. But I really like Quicker because it's very simple and easy to install, and it just looks really nice.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so that's it. Quicker, and the company is root uninstaller, but you do not need root in order to run it.
Awesome. That's Quickr.
Yep.
No E in Quicker.
The old Web 2.0 spelling.
And,
much like Flickr.
A 4 in Javelin instead of an A. And yes. Just watch the video. There's a QR code and everything.
Exclamation point
in
Mumble.
Yes, exactly. Exclamation point in Mumble. In Mumble. And links fit all one word. There we go. All right. AAApoll.com/145 if you want to get in there and vote for your favorite app from this week's arena. Landmark Arena, where we finally have a glassware app in the
Very
arena.
cool.
And early results are in, and Mumble and LinksFit are off to the races. They're duking it out for first at the moment.
I would like to see the Mumble developer do a glass app that ties the notifications of his phone to the little vibrate on the bone. Yeah.
Oh man, could you imagine that bone conducting speaker just like rattling for a minute? No, thank you.
Somebody sends you one of those really long, like 4 text messages that are like...
I completely forgot that I had this down there. This is my new revised upgraded Google Glass.
Oh, look at this.
Nice.
Jason's full of surprises today. What, do we have another bumper now, too? Or?
The Jason shows off his new Google Glass bumper, of course. Yeah.
Look at that.
There you
And
go.
did I see the sunglasses attachment in there? Or?
Yeah, I got an extra one of those, and now I have 2 of those.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like Christmas.
It really is like Christmas. So now you have 2 glasses?
No, well, I have 2 lenses.
Oh, no, but 2 of those?
No, you have to give.
You're
like, so I couldn't help but notice you have 2 glasses. No, you have to give one back, and then
I see.
And then you'll receive this.
See, Cecilia's got a cool color one. You went with the gray. I like the.
I went with the black. Yeah, the
I like
black.
the red. I would have gone red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tangerine, as it's called.
Tangerine. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So, anyways, I set up Wink for photo. And then as I was sitting at my desk, apparently I wink a lot because it kept taking pictures, and I didn't remember that I set it up. And I was like, why is there's something wrong with this thing? Oh, wait a minute.
Wait, it's defective. Every time I blink.
Well, you have to recalibrate it, and then you might make a little more exaggerated gesture when you.
Okay, yeah, because the first time I tried it, it said I winked too long. It's like, wink for the photo. And I'm like, that didn't work. There, thank you. I can't believe that doing that, the TriCaster will take a picture of me. That's amazing. Thank you, Brian. All right. Well, that is it for this week. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of All About Android. And Cecilia Abadi, it's just been our pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about your story and sharing all your Android and glass insights with us.
This was awesome. A lot of fun. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Anytime. We'd love to have you back at sometime if you're interested. This is kind of the part of the show where we let you talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to point people to a website or, anywhere that they can find your work online. I realize your app was in the arena, but go ahead and pimp it again if you like. It's up to you.
Well, I'm a person of multiple passions. I've done several TEDx talks, which are one of them about transparency and having transparent lives, another one about our new digital brain, and another one about not being a scaredy cat and taking risks on your everyday life, because in the hyper-connected network that we live, taking risk is the best, strategy really in the end. And I just encourage everybody to try that links feed thing that we discussed, and just be friends on Facebook or Google, Twitter, wherever you can find me. I love to speak and talk and chat geek.
Excellent. Resistance is futile.
Yes.
Awesome. TEDx. I'm slightly scared, but very intrigued. That is fantastic, Cecilia. Thank you. And I'll be in touch. We'll have you back on again if you like.
Awesome.
So, Gina, how did your first week with ThinkUp go?
It went really well. My company's first product, ThinkUp.com, web service, just launched last week to our crowdfunding backers. We did a crowdfunding campaign back in October. Went really well. Reception was very, very good. We are in total bug fixing mode and just looking at our users' data and figuring out, what's working, what's not, and looking to expand. We haven't opened up signups to everyone yet. We're kind of going with the slow scaling approach. But if you're interested and you want to check it out, you can actually see Jason and Ron's ThinkUps.
Yep.
RonXO.thinkup.com and Raygun01.thinkup.com. Thank you guys. And you can pop your email into the homepage and we'll let you know when we go live to everyone. That's been the main thing I've been working on, but you can see everything else I'm working on at ginatrapani.org. I also co-host This Week in Google here on the Twit Network, and that airs on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be on tomorrow with Leo and Jeff, and you should stop on by.
Yeah, ThinkUp it's really interesting to get in there and kind of see your dashboard and see the insights that it comes up with, and just kind of the people that just started following you, and this tweet got all of this action, and it's just a really cool way to kind of analyze your social presence.
Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I got lost in it when I pulled it up. I'm like, oh, this is, you forget about things. So I post stuff and I never go back and look to see who retweeted it or favored it or whatever. So it's cool to kind of see that. Yeah.
And I think what's really effective about it is it's not a page full of random. It's not a page full of static stats that that your eyes glaze over. Like it's kind of like, here's a few cool things about this day. They seem somewhat random in how they're picked out, but I know that there's obviously a lot of data that's crunching on the back end, but you're not showing too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On any given day.
I'm glad to hear that.
You're showing a couple of interesting nuggets about each day, so it isn't overwhelming, because I'm sure you have plenty more data that you're not surfacing every single bit of data, which some services would opt to do that instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the idea. It's like instead of just showing you a giant dashboard of charts and leaving it to you to interpret them, we just thought, well, ThinkUp should be kind of like the Google Now of analytics. Like you'll notice we have card design, and it's just letting you know when there's something notable. If there isn't something notable, and there might be some days when you don't get any insights, and that's just because there wasn't anything to important to share. So that's the idea, and hopefully it'll work and people will like it. And we've got lots more insight ideas that we're going to be pushing in the next few weeks. So I'm excited about that.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah,
well, congratulations.
I was glad to see my dashboard highlighted possibly the best tweet I've ever written over the weekend, where when I said I like to open the Uber app and just watch the cars drive around the city. I got a lot of people.
Nice.
I got a lot of compliments on that one. That was pretty good.
Where do people find you on Twitter, Ron?
Well, they can find me on
those things.
Yeah,
those nuggets.
Exactly. These wonderful little bits of snapshots of my brain. Go to about.me/RonXO. That's where you can find links to my Twitter and Facebook, and I think Instagram might be on there, and other stuff and all that fun stuff's on there. That's me on Twitter. There I am. And you can also go to Google+. I'm google.com/plus/Ron Richards. And by day, I work at Image Comics. And if you're a fan of comic books, go to imagecomics.com. We've got DRM-free comics that you can download. You can sync to your Dropbox. The folks at Dropbox got in touch, and they were they loved our integration, and they tweeted about it. That was nice to see. But even more so, if you're a big fan of comic books, go to imagecomics.com tomorrow. We have a new series coming out called Deadly Class that if you like good comics, great art, and a little bit of punk rock, Deadly Class is up your alley, and I'm very excited for it. So
sounds interesting.
It's not as cool as ThinkUp, but there it is. There's Deadly Class. So, yeah, good times at Image.
It looks pretty cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun comic. So, check it out.
Right on. All right, Brian, our awesome technical director. Where can people find your work other than this show?
Thanks, Jason. If you watch Know How at all, I do some stuff on that. A while back, I did a Raspberry Pi project, and me and Padre are coming up with something soon. You can follow me on Google Plus at Plus Brian Burnett. But here's a little tease of what might be coming down the pipe. So stay tuned. You can see me on Know How. Do some fun projects.
I like that mat that all those pieces are on.
Does that look familiar?
Yeah, those mats are pretty cool. I prefer the darker version, but that's fine.
I kept that for home.
All right.
This is my work mat.
Okay, fair enough.
I think there was a priest about to hit you over the head with a club. By the way, when you were talking there, I was a little scared for you. I'm happy you're okay. You can find me at about.me/Jason Howell. I'm on Google plus Jason Howell, and my music is found at yellowgoldmusic.com. That is it for this week. Thank you so much for joining us once again for All About Android. Leave us a voicemail 347-SHOW-AAA. You can always send us an email or a link to a video at aaa@twit.tv. On Twitter, we are at Android Show. On Google Plus, we have a fantastic community, but you can also find us at Plus, All About Android. Reddit, which I do referred to it today because I needed a big help with the news, twitaaa.reddit.com. Thanks for the folks participating there. Show notes and past episodes can be found at twit.tv/AAA, as well as iTunes and YouTube all over the internet. And finally, you can catch us live every Tuesday starting at 5 p.m. Pacific, live.twit.tv. That's it for this week. We'll see you next week on another episode of All About Android.
Ooh, glass.
Oh, it went ba-ding when I put it on.
Nice. Very cool.
Nothing will ever beat Ron's reaction. Sorry, Jason.
Oh, sorry. Let me try this. Holy cow!